Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Prominent Nigerians continue the discussion on the country's post-Civil War experience in Lagos, ask citizens to learn from the ugly incident and prevent a repeat of that history. Nigerians to begin payment of 7.5% value-added tax as President Buhari signs the 2019 Finance Bill into law after its passage by the 9th National Assembly. Supreme Court adjourns hearing in the appeals of 6 governors to tomorrow due to the ill health of member of the 7-man panel of justices. And Queen Elizabeth II backs period of transition for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan. Plus, business, sports, news from Abuja, the FCT, and then later, our studios in London. Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. So subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And of course, you can watch channels via your smart TV platforms. That's on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku as well. It's all there for you, all the different ways that you can catch Channels Television. A video went viral last week showing a Nigerian lady pleading for her life being held against her will. Well, the good news is that Ms. Omolola Ajayi, the Nigerian lady trafficked to Lebanon, has now regained her freedom. The chairman CEO of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, disclosed this today. She says Ms. Ajayi has been handed over to the Nigerian ambassador in Beirut and will be making her way back home soon. Ms. Ajayi had raised alarm over her safety after being trafficked under the guise of engaging her as an English tutor in Lebanon. However, after the video went viral, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps reportedly arrested the Lebanese national and 2 Nigerian suspects in connection with her trafficking. And now to the judiciary. The former chairman of the defunct pension reform task team, Abdul Rashid Maina, has appealed to the Federal High Court in Abuja to drop some of the conditions attached to the 1 billion naira bail granted him by the court in November 2019. Mr. Maina was arraigned along with his firm, Common Input Property and Investment Limited, on charges of money laundering to the tune of 2 billion naira and has remained in an Abuja prison since last year due to his inability to meet his bail conditions. At the hearing of the bail variation application filed by Mr. Maina on December the 6th, 2019, the defendant's lawyer told the court that his client had met other conditions, but it had been impossible for him to get senators to serve as the sureties. The former pension reform boss told Justice Okonabang on Monday that part of the bail conditions requiring him to produce 2 sureties who must be serving senators with landed property worth 500 million naira each in Maitama or Asokoro areas of Abuja was excessive and stringent. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Makbe Ogu Yusuf. Hi, Makbe.
Hello, Ijoma. It's good to see you. We welcome our viewers to our Abuja studios. And we're starting the court. Hearing in the appeals on the elections of Governors Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, and 4 other governors has been adjourned to Tuesday, January the 14th, 2020. That's tomorrow. The adjournment is because a member of the 7-man panel suddenly fell ill. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, who presided over the 7-man panel of the court, says due to unforeseen circumstances, the court had to adjourn to enable the sick member of the panel seek medical attention.
The hearing in the appeals of Governor Aminu Tambuwal, Abdullahi Ganduje, and 4 other governors at the Supreme Court drew so many supporters to the extent that the court had to adjourn briefly because of the inability of security operatives to control the noisy crowd of supporters. On resumption, lawyers in the appeal involving Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State announced appearances, but before adopting their briefs of argument, the court had to adjourn abruptly due to a member of the panel who fell ill. The registrar later announced the adjournment of all the 6 appeals to Tuesday, the 14th of January 2020.
Well, as you can see...
The lawyer to the Benue State chapter of the People's Democratic Party expresses confidence that the panel will hear the appeals at the next adjourned date.
The cases could not be heard today, but they've all been adjourned to tomorrow. We'll all be here tomorrow to continue with the proceedings.
Chief Michael Zekome, the counsel to retired General Jeremiah Oseni, an appellant challenging the election of Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, expresses concern that the justices of the Supreme Court are overburdened and believes there is a need to constitute multiple panels to determine election appeals.
It's quite unfortunate the way the Supreme Court is burdened for the apex court of the land to have 13 appeals in one day, and all of them on very high-profile political cases, which is why the Supreme Court has been brimming with people from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria. My first suggestion is that the Supreme Court, which currently has about 15 to 16 justices, should be complemented by the full panel.
Outside the court premises, the situation becomes rowdy as supporters of some politicians attack the aides of a former governor of Bauchi State who is an appellant in one of the appeals. Last week, the Apex Court heard the governorship appeals from Abia, Taraba, Delta and Niger states and affirmed the elections of the governors of these states.
And outside Nigeria, a 34-year-old Nigerian, Emmanuel Chidi Okafor, has been arraigned before a magistrate's court in South Africa's Northern Cape on 5 charges, including the alleged premeditated murder of an off-duty policeman. There was a heavy police presence outside the court as angry community members protested, demanding that foreign nationals doing illegal things in their community should leave. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, reports.
No bail! No bail! Outside the King's Magistrates Court, it was tense.
Hopefully, justice will be served on the specific individual that is alleged to have killed the police in his sleep. The reasons are therefore unknown, which will be disclosed here in the court of law.
Inside the court, 34-year-old Emmanuel Chidi Okafor was brought in by the Priority Crimes Unit, the Hawks, since the victim was a policeman. Okafor faces 5 charges: contravention of Section 37 of South Africa's Refugee Act, attempted murder of a second victim still in hospital, assault, premeditated murder, and obstruction of the administration of justice. Emmanuel and the deceased were said to have been neighbors. The accused opted for legal aid and did not wish to apply for bail at this point. The case was adjourned, and the community, as well as the deceased's family, watched on as the accused was returned to custody. The presiding magistrate, Spiwo Mazwi, granted the state's request for a 2-month adjournment only on the condition that samples taken from the scene of the incident would have been submitted within that period for forensic testing. The case has been adjourned to the 23rd of March 2020. More than 40 kilometers from Kimos, where the stabbing incident occurred, is Upington, where some foreign nationals also suffered losses owing to the violence that followed that incident. Chine Miriam Emmanuel is one of those affected. He lives and trades here with his wife and 2 children. The night he was attacked, he says his dog Whiskey surprisingly slept through it all, and he's yet to restart his business.
I have nothing to reopen the business. Coming here in the morning, we find out that our house, everything in our stock, everything inside the room, inside the shop is gone.
When I come out, I'm asking them, how come Nigeria must see what is going on? They say Nigerian kill policemen in Kemus. They are telling me, hey, my bro, you must go inside my bro, must leave this, you must go inside my bro. Then I went inside my house. They start throwing stones all over my house.
For now, it's a cautious existence for some foreign nationals in the area as they hope things can return to normal as soon as possible. From Kimos, the Northern Cape, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
Back in Nigeria and away from the court, over 2 trillion naira has been set aside by the federal government for the provision of infrastructure across the country. This was confirmed by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, while commissioning some roads and other projects in Kano. He acknowledged that the road projects will assist businesses and vehicular movement across the state and the northern region. Our correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, arrives at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport and is welcomed by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. The aim of the visit is to commission several projects, including the Alhassan Dantata Bridge in Sabongari, Tijjani Hashim Underpass in Oforua, foundation lane of Karibullah Isiaka Rabiu Underpass, and the 4.2 billion naira cancer center in Muhammadu Buhari Specialist Hospital, Gigenyu. Professor Osinbajo believes that before sustainable economic growth can be achieved in the country, provision of adequate infrastructure is essential.
We've invested almost 2.7 trillion naira on capital alone, which is the highest in the history of the country, despite the fact that we're earning almost 60% less than previous governments. So there's no question at all that for President Muhammadu Buhari, infrastructure is key.
Governor Ganduje highlights some of his plans toward investments in the all-important health sector.
We introduced what we call Health Trust Fund, of which 10% of the IGR of the state is being put into the basket. 1% of local governments is put into the basket. Also, other organizations do contribute. And I assure you, every month we collect over 150 million.
The Vice President also met with the emirs of the newly created Emirate of Bichi, Rano, and Gaya at the Government House, as well as the Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi II, at his palace. Idris Jibrin, Channels Television News.
A coalition of civil rights organizations in Abuja is asking the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, to go beyond the arrest of Senator Shehu Sani in an alleged bribery scandal and investigate the role played by all actors in the matter. The spokesperson of the group, Mr. Adamu Matazu, insists both the giver and taker of the alleged bribe should be investigated. The group is also asking the Chief Justice of Nigeria to do more than write a disclaimer and formally lodge a complaint with the security agencies.
What we are calling on the anti-graft agencies to do is that both the bribe giver and the bribe taker are corrupt and should be punished according to the law of the land, because there cannot be only one party, a bribe taker alone. There must be somebody who gives the bribe too. He too should be punished according to the law. And as regard to the issue of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, he has earlier issued a statement distancing himself from the alleged bribery. What we are calling on him to do more is not only to distance himself or to issue a disclaimer, but in order to save the integrity and image of the judiciary, to write a formal complaint to relevant security agencies to investigate the matter, as well as punish all those culpable or found to have been in one way or the other try to compromise the judiciary or the anti-graft agencies.
When the News at 10 returns, Mohamed Barkindo expresses confidence that additional 500 barrels per day production adjustments will maintain stability in the crude oil markets in 2020. That's on Business News. Plus, Queen Elizabeth II backs period of transition for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And more from our London bureau in and around the world in 5. Do join us again.